Testing. Welcome everyone. First of all, I'm trying to make sure everything's working, so bear with me. And we are going to get started here in less than 60 seconds at 9 p.m. Central Time. I just want to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin is trying to bounce. We'll see what happens, and we will look at that in a moment. Okay, so the sound should be good. Hopefully, everyone is having a great Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Let's go over and look at the Fear and Greed Index. So, right now, the Fear and Greed Index is currently coming in at 54. So the Fear Grid Index is currently coming in at 54. We are currently neutral on the day on the Fear Grid Index. And again, last week we were at 74. Hold on a second. Bear with me for TikTok. It's having some difficulties. So last week we were at greed at 74, and last month we were at 73 in greed. And yesterday, again, we were at 60. So again, unless this is above 90, I'm not too worried. If it's below 10. If it's below 10, you want to buy a crap ton of crypto. And if it's above 90, that's usually when you see a sell-off, a big sell-off within 2 to 4 weeks at most. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, I think the market's back in a healthy spot. And it looks like the Fear and Greed Index is resetting quite nicely. That just means that the markets can probably get a bounce. Also, I believe someone told me earlier today that the bull moon is actually this week. So that's also a good thing. Usually we see a bounce whenever that happens. So let's go over right now, look at Bookmap. Bookmap basically shows you where all the liquidity is at on Bitcoin. So if we go full screen, make sure that the quality is up to 1080. And right now on the right-hand side, you can see that there's a lot of liquidity to the downside at 110,000. You have a very little bit up here at 117, but in general, the right is the daily time frame. In general, you have a lot more liquidity down there at 110,000 than anywhere else. And then the left side over here is the weekly time frame. On the weekly, you still have a lot of liquidity at 125,000. I do believe we see that at some point sooner than later, but it might not be for 1 to 2 months, 2 to 3 months. I think first we at least go down and retest that 112K level. We'll see what happens. And then on the weekly, again, just like the daily, you have a lot of liquidity at 110. So I still will be looking for more downside here on Bitcoin. And I did say my target multiple times was at least 112K short term. Medium term, we'll have to see what happens. If we don't go down to 112K, then so be it. But if we do, then, I would expect $112,000 to be a huge bounce point because that was a previous all-time high for Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. But that's something to watch is that 112K level. And we can kind of go from there. So if we, so let's go see what Bitcoin is doing. If you guys, I should turn the music on. So right now, I did say I was looking for a rounded bottom on Bitcoin. Are we still going to get that rounded bottom? Well, on the daily time frame, you can see that the stock RSI right now is trying to get the balance, but it's very lackluster. And now, as of today, it's kind of gone flat if you really zoom in. So that's not a great look. If we go down to the 12-hour time frame, you can see that the 12-hour time frame also kind of struggling, and that is probably going to make a lower high on the stock RSI for the 12-hour time frame. So to me, that's not great. 8-hour time frame, same thing. It just doesn't look fantastic. If we hop down to the 4-hour time frame, again below the 200-day moving average. So I would be looking for more downside. And then I also talked about this in a Bitcoin update on YouTube, that I kind of saw a head and shoulders pattern on the smaller time frames for Bitcoin. So let me show you what I saw. So right here in this rising wedge that we have on the 1-hour time frame, we had a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. And to me, it looks like you could be making a lower high. I would be bullish to get in here on Bitcoin if Bitcoin can break this this top price action here at $114,300. But in general, Bitcoin's pretty bearish below the 15-minute 200 and below the 4-hour 200-day moving average. I would be looking for more downside, especially if Bitcoin cannot reclaim $114,300. So in general, right now, I see this as a rising wedge for Bitcoin, head and shoulders, and it's most likely at this point we go to the downside. I could be wrong. It could do an anomaly, but the most likely scenario is we go down. Both of these, head and shoulders and a rising wedge, they're both bearish, and they both break down 68% of the time. And then about 38% of the time, they don't break down. But we'll see what happens. I'm open-minded. Right now, it just looks more sketchy to me than anything, and we'll see what happens. So If you guys have requests for altcoins, then let me know. But in general, right now, at least if you want short-term price analysis, it looks to me like Bitcoin could be rolling over. And then if you go down to the 5-minute time frame, you can see that as of right now, that it's struggling. It's overbought on the stock side, and even now the 5-minute kind of printing the same thing that the 1 hour and the 15-minute are doing. Is another mini rising wedge, which likely at this point, I'd be pretty surprised if an hour from now, Bitcoin's not below 113.5 or at least 113.6. I could be wrong, but I see like the 5-minute even making now a rising wedge. So we'll see what happens. It doesn't look great to me. The markets look like more dumpy than anything. If that happens, most altcoins are going to dump. I'm also in my shorts, USDC short and short on Yearn Finance. So we'll see what happens. I could be wrong, but that's where I stand. I appreciate if you guys hit the like. It does help support the channel. Thank you for that. I see someone did on TikTok. We got 3 at least. Yeah, let me see if I don't see any requests. So yeah, I just see more downside for the markets right now. I did a lot of videos. I posted a lot of videos to my YouTube channel, so go check that out if you guys want updates like on Atom or Ethereum. So those are the ones I probably won't do unless people really want it, because I did do an update on my YouTube channel on those, so you guys can go watch those and check it out. But in general, right now, if Bitcoin dumps, the entire market is likely to dump, and we'll see what happens. I do believe, though, that I can look it up right now. But I do believe that we have a full moon coming up. Not a bull moon, a full moon. I'm not sure why the indicator thing isn't working. There we go. I can look up moon phases right now. We'll see what happens. Let me go to like the 4-hour time frame. Maybe it's coming tomorrow. Yeah, it must be coming tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow or the next day is a full moon. That could be a bullish scenario for crypto. I definitely don't use that ever, but that's a hopium sign. If you're looking for some hope, that could be your hope that the bull moon comes this week, and then that could be a bottom for the crypto markets. But it doesn't change the fact that the charts look more bearish to me than bullish. So we'll see what happens. It just looks more dumpy than anything. So it just doesn't look fantastic. The markets just don't look great tonight, and most of the charts are below their 15-minute and 4-hour 200-day moving averages. If we jump down to the 1-minute time frame here on Bitcoin, you can also see we're below the 1-minute 200, and this is also a head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and you're breaking down. When I first started trading, and just until like a year ago, it was very hard for me to see head and shoulders patterns. But that's a pretty clear one, and it looks like you're going to probably take a tumble to the downside. So we'll see what happens, but it looks more likely at this point that we do go lower. I would at least look short term for Bitcoin to go down to about 113.4. So we'll see what happens. But this looks most likely that Bitcoin's going to tumble. If that happens, Ethereum's going to dump, most likely. I think Ethereum will hold up better than Bitcoin, but I still think the entire market could tumble here. So just be cognizant of what the market can do, because it does look bearish. I'm just giving you fair warning. Always use a stop loss, and overall, if you don't overtrade, you should be fine. Thank you guys for the likes. It does help support the channel. I appreciate it if you guys do that. It does help support the channel. Thank you. So yeah, that's just kind of what I see going on right now. Bitcoin on the 1-minute time frame. I'm sorry, the 5-minute time frame, getting a huge bearish engulfing candle. 5 minutes stock RSI, significant lower high. The previous time the 5-minute was overbought was 114,200, and now Bitcoin is down to 113.6, and the high was only 100. It wasn't even 100. That's a $700 lower high on the 5-minute time frame. So that's not good. I mean, if you're shorting, then you should be decently happy right now, because if Bitcoin's getting a bearish engulfing candle on the 5-minute, that means probably alts are doing the same thing. So we'll see what happens, but I see more downside, and that's kind of my update. I see 112 coming sooner. I see $112,300 coming for Bitcoin probably sometime this week, and honestly, probably tomorrow, because it just looks bearish. So, I mean, you could chart this right now if you wanted to, and you could just say, well, I'm looking for more downside, and what's the measured move of this bear flag? it would be approximately $113,100. So that's really, yeah, that's what I would be looking for on the 5 minute. The 5 minutes below the 200, the 1 minute's below it, the 15 minute is below it, and the 4 hours below the 200-day moving average for Bitcoin. Anytime you have all four of those below it, I mean, it's just bear city. So the trend is your friend till the end. Right now, the trend is to the downside. So, I mean, I wouldn't be longing this. I'd be out of positions or I'd be in a short. And that's not financial advice, but that's just overall a smart thing to do when the market looks the way it does. I don't think the bull run's over, but if it is, it is. And then we can make money in the bear market, and I'll just accumulate more Bitcoin, and I'll trade here and there, and that'll be that. So right now, again, with my strategy, I'd be in a short or I wouldn't be in any position, and I definitely couldn't be long right now on any time frame because no time frame for me on Bitcoin looks bullish. So if you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know and I'll look at them. But for me right now, Bitcoin looks pretty bad. You know, you have a huge bearish engulfing candle now. So that's kind of Bitcoin in a nutshell. USTC is an altcoin that just made a lower low as of recently, at least. You went down to 12.62. And I didn't even know this was a crypto until the other day, but I don't think it has anything to do with Luna. Year-end Finance right now made a lower low down to 5,100, and just Year-end Finance just a while back was at 5,350, which isn't that crazy, but you know, just what was it? In July 18th, I guess that was 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was at $6,300, so it's only down 1,000, but. Anyways, I see more downside for Euro. I see more downside for USTC. I see more downside for Bitcoin. We can go look at Ethereum, but it's probably not going to look much better. I am in a long on Ethereum. I think Ethereum does look better than Bitcoin, but it still doesn't look great. Like the 4-hour time frame, that's a falling wedge. That looks a lot better than Bitcoin, but it doesn't look fantastic. The 15 lost to 200. The 4-hour time frame, not yet. So we'll see what happens. I do think Ethereum looks significantly better than Ethereum, or I think Ethereum looks significantly better than Bitcoin. But honestly, Bitcoin gets a big enough dump, Ethereum will roll over here. So yeah, it just continues lower now, 113,500. So we'll see where we end up later today and tomorrow. But the most likely scenario is, at least short term, like for the next hour or two, is 113K. And then probably tomorrow, 112.3 is really my target. I just showed you a 5-minute bear flag. I showed you a 1-minute bear flag on, or head and shoulders on Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. But it looks bad, and it looks like we could take a tumble, which we're already doing. So yeah, it does. It just looks bad. And you just hit the head and shoulders pattern measure move, I do believe. So we'll see. I see more downside for Bitcoin though. So with that being said, if you guys have a request for altcoins, I'll look at them. But I just it's probably not. They're probably not going to look great with Bitcoin doing what it's doing. With that being said, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I will do at least a few altcoin requests if I see any. I don't see any right now. I'll be back live on Saturday as well, like always. So I'm gonna clear up the similar chart because it is kind of messy right now. But that's kind of what I see going on. This is a pretty good picture of it right here. You know, it's a pretty good picture right here. So I'll copy and paste this. And I'm going to actually send this to my Telegram. If you guys want to join the Telegram, link to join is on my TikTok page. And then if you guys want to join the trading group, link to join would be on my Twitter. Also, you can join that through Telegram. I did change that so you can join through Telegram now. We do have 55 people in the Telegram. So, yeah, that's kind of what I see going on for Bitcoin for the rest of the night, is just more downside. That's just what I see going on. Let me check out the YouTube chat, see if we have anything over on YouTube. I don't see anything over on YouTube. So, with that being said, guys, I'm staying in my shorts. Stop loss on both of them is... Actually, my stop loss in USDC is 12.9 cents, the last high. And then my stop loss in Year Finance is the 200-day moving average, which now is up to 52.46. That's probably going to start rolling over here, though, unless we pump here. So we'll see what happens. But those are my two short positions on USDC and Year Finance. Those are the only two trades I'm in right now. And I might close one of them before I go to bed. I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know. I see downside for both of them continuing, though. I don't see why it would change with the state of the market right now. I mean, my strategy is if you're below the 4-hour 200-day moving average and the 15-minute 200-day moving average, I just short with a stop, at the 15-minute 200 or the closest 200-day moving average of those two time frames. That's just my strategy. And honestly, using both the 15-minute time frame and the 4-hour 200 time frame simultaneously, it has been pretty nice actually, and pretty easy to trade with when the market. But that does mean if you have to wait for both the 200 and if you have to wait for both the 4-hour and the 15-minute 200-day moving average to be below or above on price action, you might have days where you're not opening trades, which is fine. But I open trades on Bitcoin, Euro Finance, and USTC. Any other ones I don't really trade. I don't know why, but so those are the three I really watch for that strategy. And here and there, maybe I average one trade a day. So yeah. So, guys, that's my update. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll be back live Saturday, 9 p.m. Central Time. If I have to revamp what time I go live on Saturday, I'll let you guys know on the Telegram group. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers. I will be posting a few videos as well on YouTube as well tomorrow, so watch out for that. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night. And I'll see you guys on Saturday night for our next live stream. Until then, trade safe. Always use a stop loss. And again, I see more downside coming for Bitcoin, but maybe the smaller time frames can fight that urge to go down. We'll see. Anything's possible. 5 minutes trying to get a bounce right now. We'll see if it happens. But again, I remain short on both of these assets, USTC and Euro Finance. That's my update, guys. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Adios.